Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And we have breaking news right out of that NBC News special reports a major victory for the Trump administration. What today's ruling means for the interpretation of birthright citizenship.
It's a hot day with the potential for some severe storms. I'll show you when we have the highest rain chances coming up.
And out with the old. Demolition underway on a Durham Housing Authority building. What's next for the property?
It is another hot day with a chance for severe storms out there on our Friday. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Nate Chu. Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to let us know when those storms could fire up, Amy.
It'll be later this afternoon, this evening. I just took a look at the radar. It's clear right now, so nothing to worry about right now, or probably for the next couple of hours. Definitely a hazy look to downtown Raleigh. It's 92 now, the heat index at 100. So it's another hot day. This is a little bit lower compared to where we've been at this hour the last few days, but it's still hot outside. High temperatures today will climb into the mid-90s. 96 for the high temperature in Durham, Raleigh, and Fayetteville. But when you factor in the dew point in the low 70s, which is where it's been hovering for the majority of the day today, this is what it will likely feel like during the peak heating hours this afternoon, ranging from 100 to about 105 for the heat index today. So just shy of heat advisory criteria, but still plenty hot outside. We also have that threat for storms, a level 1 severe risk for most of the area today. The southeastern part of our viewing area not included in the severe threat. The biggest threat would be strong damaging winds, heavy downpours, and frequent lightning. We saw that yesterday. We've seen that each day, and we'll see it again today. Some pop-up storms likely forming around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Highest storm chances will be between around 6 o'clock this evening and 8 o'clock this evening. So another round of storms today, plus the heat. Looking ahead to the weekend, outdoor plans, I think it's a go, but we do have the chance for storms each day. I'll walk you through that with Futurecast coming up.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center to the other big story of the day, this U.S. Supreme Court making a decision to narrow the scope of nationwide injunctions, which speaks to a proposal by the President Trump administration about birthright citizenship. Now, it's important to note that this birthright citizenship proposal will likely mean that states that challenge this law will move forward, and even states that didn't. The decision, though, does not address the legal merits of the president's proposal, but it only addresses whether judges have the authority to put it on hold nationwide. So take a listen to what President Trump had to say just minutes ago.
This was a big decision, an amazing decision, one that we're very happy about. This morning, the Supreme Court has delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law, in striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch. The Supreme Court has stopped the presidency itself. That's what they've done. And really, it's been an amazing period of time.
We also need to point out that it has been widely accepted, including on the left and on the right, that the Constitution's 14th Amendment confers automatic citizenship to almost anyone born in the United States. Of course, today's ruling challenges that. We'll have much more in the next half hour here on WRAL News.
And Ken, recapping that now, a major ruling today from Supreme Court justices limiting the power of federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions. That ruling gives the president a victory to implement his executive order to end birthright citizenship. The future of the interpretation of the 14th Amendment is still unclear. Alice Barr breaks down the ruling.
Hi there. The Supreme Court today issuing a major ruling that allows the Trump administration to take steps to enforce its controversial proposal to end automatic birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to parents who are undocumented immigrants. The ruling narrows the scope of what's known as nationwide injunctions to apply only to groups and individuals that sued, dealing a serious blow to the power of individual judges in lower courts to block policies across the whole country, something we've seen happen many times during the second Trump term. In this case, that means that the birthright citizenship case can move forward in states that challenged it and in states that did not. The case never addressed the legal merits of overturning birthright citizenship outlined in the Constitution's 14th Amendment, focusing only on whether judges had the authority to put it on hold across the entire country. All 6 conservative justices agreed here. All 3 liberals dissented. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote for the majority that when a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power too. In dissent, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote that the decision was an existential threat to the rule of law. And again, this ruling has wide-ranging implications for a whole series of other nationwide injunctions judges have issued against Trump administration policies throughout this year. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
So a lot going on. The High Court also ruled in favor of Christian and Muslim parents in Maryland. They sued to keep their elementary school children out of classes that use LGBTQ storybooks. The Supreme Court also preserved a key element of the Obamacare law that helps guarantee health insurers cover preventive care like cancer screenings at no cost to patients. Justices also upheld a Texas law that mandated websites with sexual material harmful to minors have proof that the person on that website is 18 years of age or older. We know that this can have some sentiment among investors, so let's take a look at stocks. The last day of trading for the work week, and the Dow Jones Industrial Averages certainly having a response here, nearing the 500-point mark in positive territory. S&P 500 is up 41 right now, and the NASDAQ is up 137 points. So stocks moving on this Friday.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, you know those long lines that we've been seeing at the DMV? Well, they are taking stock of that and talking about making some major changes to help customers avoid these long lines that you see here because of the summer heat. They're making some policy changes that will streamline the check-in process and enhance customer comfort while maintaining efficient service. Now, under the new policies, the driver license offices in the state will now serve walk-in customers all day. Customers without an appointment no longer have to wait to be seen until noon. Additionally, examiners will prioritize checking in customers quickly and directing others to wait in their vehicles or in some other air-conditioned offices nearby. A reminder right now, there will be no Saturday hours tomorrow or July 5th. Saturday hours will resume on July 12th.
The Department of Justice says Kilmar Abrego Garcia will be taken into ICE custody for deportation proceedings as soon as he's released from federal custody. A Nashville judge said that could come as early as today. An attorney for the Justice Department says Abrego will be deported out of the U.S., but not his home country of El Salvador. It's not clear where he will be sent or when the deportation could happen. And police in Goldsboro need your help in finding a missing mother and her 2 children. Take a look at your screen here. This is 30-year-old Jasmine Wilson and one of her children, 4-month-old Zayden. We don't have a picture of her 2-year-old daughter, Jade. Police say Wilson was last seen on June 10th at the Irish Inn on Sunburst Drive. She was wearing a black and orange dress, black tennis shoes, and carrying a Five Below bag. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Goldsboro Police Department.
The outage is over. Heavy downpours last night knocked down trees onto power lines, caused some power outages for customers and detours for drivers throughout most of the morning, especially in Apex. WRAL's Ali Kadlubar is tracking the progress of major utility repairs on Williams Street there.
Traffic finally flowing on Williams Street after 12 hours of repairs. This is what's left of this incident: snapped power poles and draping utility lines. Take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. More than 6 utility trucks and a dozen linemen worked to restore power for more than 2,500 customers in Apex. A downpour knocked down a tree around 8:30 last night. That tree fell onto utility lines and snapped 2 electric poles. The damage shutting down a busy stretch on Williams Street through the majority of the morning. Luckily, that stretch on Williams Street opened back up at 9 a.m. Reporting in Apex, Ali Kadlubar, WRAL News.
A motorcyclist is recovering after being seriously hurt in a crash overnight. Raleigh police say the driver crashed near Hillsborough Street and Brooks Avenue. This was around 9 p.m. The driver was taken to the hospital. It is not clear what led up to the crash.
The Raleigh Police Department is hosting 2 gun lock giveaway events today. One of them will be on Falls River Avenue from noon until 2. The other will be at Mount Herman Road from 2 to 4. June is Gun Violence Safety Awareness Month. The department says the events are being held to promote safe gun ownership. And Raleigh police cited 2 men for a fight that sent 1 person to the hospital. It happened last night at the main bus depot on South Blunt Street. Security detained a man with a knife. While officers were there, a man approached them and said he had been stabbed during a fight. Police say the victim is expected to recover. Next at noon, the debate continues. How destructive were the U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear targets?
Also, turfing the mall, how this driver explained doing donuts at the nation's capital.
Plus, good seats available, nice view of the water, lucrative pay, the summer lifeguard shortage happening in Raleigh and Durham. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth worked to shift the debate over whether the nuclear targets in Iran were obliterated. Iran conceded the strikes caused serious damage to its nuclear program, but the Supreme Leader insists the war has been a victory for Iran. Here's NBC's Matt Bradley.
We saw a press briefing by the White House about that unprecedented set of American strikes against Iran's nuclear program. We heard from Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, along with the Joint Chiefs of Staff head. Now, both of them laid out a little bit more detail about what exactly were the results of those massive American strikes. According to Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, he didn't actually lay out many details, but he did, again, scold the media for what he said was misrepresenting an unqualified victory on the part of the United States and Israel against Iran. Now, this is all in reaction to those initial assessments released or leaked by U.S. intelligence agencies that said that actually these strikes only set back Iran's nuclear program by a couple of months. The Trump administration insists that those strikes have set back the nuclear program by years. And actually, the Israelis agree. The IAEA has also come out and said that extensive damage was done to these nuclear sites. And it sounds as though it is only the intelligence agencies so far that are the outlier. Even they said this is a preliminary report and that will take a few more weeks or even months in order to finalize the details on what exactly was the result of those strikes. But I can tell you that here in Israel, everybody is now looking ahead to the next step. There's a lot of talk in the headlines about how Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his partners are hoping to ink more deals to naturalize their diplomatic relations with their Arab neighbors, having finally vanquished, at least from their eyes, Iran and its proxy groups throughout the region. Now, this is a particularly important moment and one that could be a paradigm shift in Middle East history if the Israelis succeed. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Thousands are expected to pay their respects today to Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, Raleigh native Mark Hortman. The couple and their dog will lie in state at the Capitol Rotunda this afternoon there. Police say their murders were politically motivated. Former Vice President Kamala Harris will travel to Minnesota to attend that funeral. Today, a judge is expected to determine whether the man accused of killing them, Vance Belter, should remain in custody without bail. The man arrested as an alleged accomplice in the California fertility clinic bombing died by suicide. Daniel Park was found unresponsive in his cell at a federal detention center in Los Angeles Tuesday. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical examiner's office listed the manner of death as suicide and the cause as blunt force trauma. The 32-year-old was charged with supplying materials to the bomber who died in that May 17th explosion.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, the lead defense attorney for Pete Diddy right now giving closing arguments in his sex trafficking case. Mark Agnifilo tried to disparage the prosecution's lead witness, Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura. He described the couple's toxic and abusive relationship as a great modern love story. Well, yesterday, prosecutors spent 5 hours laying out their case against Diddy, accusing him of using his power, money, and influence to engage in sex trafficking and other abusive behavior. The defense attorneys are expected to have the floor most of the day, and then, of course, it could go to the jury today and probably early next week. Diddy faces life in prison if convicted. Look for new reporting on this story starting in the news at 4.
A man is being held without bond in connection with a road rage shooting in Alabama that injured a mother. The woman told police she believes the shooter was upset that she was driving too slow. She told officers the man pulled alongside her and fired 2 shots into her vehicle. One bullet struck her in the leg. The other narrowly missed her 5-year-old son in the back seat. Doctors operated on her leg, and she is expected to recover. And take a look at this video from the nation's capital. There's a driver doing donuts on the National Mall where people were attending the 33rd annual Giant Barbecue Battle. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Officers say the driver caused about $10,000 in damage. Capitol Police say when they caught the driver, he told them it's just a joke.
A utility worker in Louisiana is recovering after his vehicle was struck by a semi. Take a look at this video. It shows the worker up in that lifted bucket. Now watch closely as he fixes those streetlights. This 18-wheeler comes in and hits the bottom of the bucket, left him dangling upside down. He is okay. He was wearing that safety harness. He did not have to go to the hospital, just had minor injuries, shaken up.
How that truck could have made that turn without hitting the one pole on one side or hit without hitting the truck.
There are no traffic signs or cones warning drivers about the work being done in the area, so police are investigating whether charges should be filed in this.
Thank goodness he's okay.
Yeah.
Wow. A sunny day got a lot brighter for people in 6 states, from Florida to North Carolina.
Just a huge ball of fire just literally fell out of the sky.
Did y'all see it? A fireball that just fell like from the sky.
Yeah, if you blinked, you probably missed it. People reported seeing a fireball streaking across the sky yesterday around noon. The flash was so bright it could be seen from space. Some people even reported their homes shaking. Now the mystery is over. A cosmologist confirms it was in fact a meteor traveling around 30,000 miles per hour, which broke into hundreds of pieces before hitting Earth.
My son was more worried, he wanted me to get my eyes checked, not me, because I knew I saw something.
Yes, you did. We all did. So what's the difference between a meteoroid and a meteor and a meteorite? Meteoroids are small space rocks or dust that remain in space. Meteors are the streaks seen when meteoroid begins to burn up in Earth's atmosphere. Some refer to those fireballs as shooting stars. And if a meteoroid survives the trip through Earth's atmosphere and lands, that is called a meteorite. The more you know.
That's right. Science lesson. Not a meteorite until it hits the ground. We had some rain hit the ground overnight, but Amy Wilmoth here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. I'm seeing summertime patterns.
Yeah, I mean, this is just typical summer-like weather. It'll be with us through the weekend.
Yeah.
It is going to be hot with afternoon and evening storms possible both days. So just be prepared. Mid-90s will continue through the weekend, and you might have to dodge some storms through the weekend as well. Today, we have a level 1 risk for most of the area. The biggest threat with any storms that form today would be damaging winds, frequent lightning, and heavy downpours. We saw some of that last night, but not everybody gets the storms. These are kind of hit and miss pop-up storms, so a lot of you will stay dry. This is a look at 4 o'clock. Not a lot out there, but what is out there could be very heavy and have some gusty winds and a lot of lightning. 7:30 this evening, if you have plans, maybe date night tonight, just some spotty storms. You might want to take the umbrella just to be on the safe side in case one of those pops up over you. Then it's quiet overnight tonight, dry to kick off your Saturday, but Saturday afternoon, we get into the heating of the afternoon and we'll notice some more storms developing. We're not in a severe risk for tomorrow or Sunday, so that's good news, but some isolated pop-up storms in the afternoon. This is Saturday evening, still a few storms. And then same thing, overnight Saturday, we lose the daytime heating and we lose the rain and storms. Sunday, we wake up to sunshine. And then once we get to the afternoon, we'll notice some of these storms developing again on radar, and that will continue through Sunday evening. So it's a pretty typical summer-like weather pattern around here, and it will continue through the weekend. weekend. This is a live look at Chapel Hill. This view comes to you from Top of the Hill restaurant. Just a few puffy clouds out there. It is dry right now. The radar has nothing to see, so I'm not showing it to you. 72 is the current dew point. We're in the tropical category, but the last several days we've had mid and even upper 70s for dew points. It felt awful. It still doesn't feel great, but it just doesn't feel as bad as the last several days. We're not under a heat advisory today. It's 92 right now in Raleigh and Durham. The heat index 100, 91 in Fayetteville. The heat index 100, 90 in Goldsboro, 90 in Clinton. It feels like 106, and that's the hot spot right now down in Clinton. It's been a hot June. It's the second warmest June on record so far, and we did break one record. That was earlier this week. On Tuesday, we had 100 degrees. We've had two 100-degree days, and this hot temperatures, this is going to continue through the weekend and into next week as well. So just get used to the heat for a while and probably for the rest of the summer. 96 for the high in Durham, Raleigh, and Fayetteville. Some of those pop-up storms developing this afternoon and this evening. It's hot again Saturday. Hit and miss storms. 95 for the high. More of the same on Sunday. A 30% chance for storms with a high of 95. In the next half hour, we'll take a look at the beach forecast just in case you're headed toward the coast. Stays hot through the weekend. We'll be dodging some late-day storms. Looks dry on Monday. We're back to some scattered storms Tuesday. We get a little cool down on Wednesday with a high of 90 and then back up to 92 by Thursday. Friday is 4th of July. We'll take a preview look at that coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Amy. Farm in jeopardy. A Wake County Staples says a proposal to improve an intersection could mean an end to their business. At WRAL News at 4, how you can help save grasshopper farms.
New protections for puppy mills. That's what state lawmakers approved, but not everyone was aware of it. The bill is now on Governor Josh Stein's desk to sign or veto. At 5:30, WRAL's NC Capitol team will explain how these new puppy mill rules were rushed through without the public knowing. Plus, still ahead this noon, time for change after 40 years. Microsoft is killing the blue screen of death. We'll explain why the company is making that shift.
And patriotic phrase pulled. Trump Mobile removes the Made in America claim from its website. The other changes to the upcoming cell phone.
Trump Mobile no longer promises its upcoming smartphone will be made in America. The company dropped the claim on its official website. The T1 phone, now described as being, quote, designed with American values in mind. Industry experts say the design looks like a phone made by a China-based company, which sells for $169 on Amazon. The specifications for the T1 have also changed online. It's now sporting a smaller screen, and the memory capacity is no longer listed on the site. BMW is recalling more than 70,000 electric vehicles over a potentially dangerous software glitch. The electric drive motor software in these cars could suddenly shut down, causing loss of drive power and a potential crash risk. The issue can be resolved by an over-the-air software update. Owners will be notified in August how to get that free of charge.
Shares of Nike are rallying even as the company is forecasting it'll have to pay $1 billion in additional costs because of President Donald Trump's tariffs. Investors are focusing on comments that business should improve this year as a result of its turnaround efforts. Those include heavy discounts to clear out old inventory and starting fresh with new styles. Nike is still the world's largest sneaker maker, but it's been losing market share to performance brands such as Hoka. And say goodbye to Microsoft's dreaded blue screen of death. After 40 years, Microsoft is changing the color of its error screen. The company says it's shifting to a new black restart screen, saying the color makes text easier to read and it aligns better with Windows 11 design principles. Microsoft says it's also an easier and faster way to recover from restarts. This new black screen, it'll launch later this summer.
The esports world is taking over the Lenovo Center this weekend. 16 of the world's best Rocket League players are competing for more than $350,000. They're also trying to qualify for the World Tournament later this year. Rocket League is made by Cary-based developer Epic Games. Tickets for this weekend's championship matches are available now.
Lifeguard shortages as summer gets into full swing. Some Triangle pools are trying to make sure they have enough lifeguards on staff. We'll explain some of the problems the pools are facing.
And you're winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. We'll be right back.
Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
It is a President Trump triumph. We continue to follow that breaking news we first brought you at the top of the hour. This morning, the U.S. Supreme Court allowed Donald Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship to go into effect in a month's time. In essence, the Supreme Court opened the door for the Trump administration to no longer grant automatic citizenship to everyone born on American soil. Writing in dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor called the decision an open invitation for the government to bypass the Constitution. There is a conservative majority in the Supreme Court, and Trump appointed 3 of the 9 justices. Ken Smith is in the WRAL Live Center right now with President Trump's reaction to the ruling.
Yeah, Jeff, this was born out of the Supreme Court ruling this morning that narrowed the scope of nationwide injunctions issued by judges at lower courts. So as you just mentioned, Jeff, that means the birthright citizenship proposal by the Trump administration streamlining that process can actually move forward. Now, currently, according to the 14th Amendment, most anyone born in the United States are automatically granted U.S. citizenship. But today's ruling challenges that. And just before we came on the air, President Trump called this a major victory for the executive branch.
So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you.
The president is still talking, as you can see. That press conference started about 45 minutes ago. He's currently taking questions from reporters. Look for new reporting on this story about the birthright citizenship online at WRAL.com. Of course, WRAL News Plus in our news starting at 4 right here on WRAL.
All right, thank you, Ken. A bill restricting cell phone use in every North Carolina school is heading to Governor Stein's desk. Lawmakers have debated this for months. They agreed this week on House Bill 959. The bill says phones must be turned off with few exceptions. All school boards would need to create cell phone policies and consequences for violating them. The legislation would require many school boards to alter smartphone policies they've already passed. That's because some do not allow as many exceptions as the law requires. A district such as Wake County also does not spell out consequences for violating the rules. And if you plan to stop by the DMV this weekend without an appointment, make other plans. Offices will be closed for the next 2 weekends. They will be closed Saturday, June 28th and July 5th. Saturday services will resume on July 12th. It comes after the department expanded hours for walk-in services at 20 driver's license offices across the state.
We've had several days topping 100 degrees just this week, and we know a lot of folks will want to spend their weekend at the pool. But there's a trouble spot that could put a damper on those pool parties. WRAL's Flynn Snyder explains a lifeguard shortage is keeping pools from being fully staffed.
Raleigh's aquatic director says the city does not have enough lifeguards to fill all of the chairs like this one here at city pools. The aquatic director says the city needs to fill about 40 lifeguard vacancies. Pool staff say they don't have the amount of lifeguards to safely handle full capacity. They're encouraging anyone at least 15 years old to apply for lifeguard certification through the city of Raleigh for free. And while they haven't had to close any pools because of the shortage, the city's aquatic director says capacity may be limited at some locations because of the shortage.
We'll go one in for one out just because we only have enough lifeguards for the main pool or perhaps for different areas. Sometimes we have to close the wading pool, which is a disappointment for parents with small children that are counting on that being open.
It's not just in Raleigh. Officials in Durham say they're also looking to fill about 40 lifeguard positions here in Raleigh. Officials say the biggest challenge is to find people available to work those weekend and evening shifts. If you're curious, starting pay for a lifeguard here in the city of Raleigh goes for about $14 an hour. Over in Durham, it's a little higher at just over $19 an hour. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, reporting in Raleigh.
The world's largest swimming lesson was held in Raleigh. We'll take it right back out to the Optimist Aquatic Center. There, it was held yesterday in partnership with Raleigh Parks and Recreation. The goal is to promote awareness about teaching kids how to swim and avoid drowning. Olympic gold medalist Cullen Jones was a special guest. Research shows drowning has become the leading cause of unintended death for children ages 1 to 4.
The NHL draft kicks off tonight in Los Angeles. The first round starts tonight at 7. The Hurricanes have the 29th pick. Rounds 2 through 7 begin tomorrow at noon. NHL free agency starts on Tuesday. And we now know who will represent North Carolina in the Special Olympics USA Games. Special Olympics North Carolina held its USA Games selection show last night. Athletes from across the Triangle and across the state will head to Minnesota next June to compete in the Games. They are all very excited for a chance to showcase their skills against other athletes from all over the country. The competitions include 5-on-5 basketball, powerlifting, and tennis. Ken Smith and Special Olympics athlete Brian Henry co-hosted last night's selection show.
The elimination of synthetic dyes from our food has more benefits than once thought. Next up, what new research reveals?
And a brand new discovery in space, what NASA's James Webb Space Telescope is showing us.
And for news, traffic, and the weather of the day, be sure you download the WRAL News app.
Welcome back on your Friday afternoon. What a nice place to be right now. You're looking live at Carolina Beach. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube, TV, and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Starting next month, customers will have access to Wegovy through a new partnership with Weight Watchers. Under the deal, cash-paying patients can get a month's supply of Wegovy through Novo Nordisk's pharmacy for $299. Weight Watchers, which has exited bankruptcy now, no longer offers compounded versions of semaglutides, the active ingredient in Wegovy. Eliminate synthetic dyes from your diet and improve your health. That's what a new study reveals. Dyes in food often mean more sugar. The new research reveals foods and beverages with synthetic dyes contained 141% more sugar on average than food products without dyes. Several food industry giants have taken action, pledging to phase out dyes before the end of 2027.
America's older population is growing and the number of children is shrinking. New data from the U.S. Census reveals that the number of Americans ages 65 and up rose by 3% from 2023 to 2024. The same report revealed that the population under 18 has decreased by a fraction of a percent. There are still about 12 million more children than older adults nationwide, but the gap is narrowing as baby boomers age and birth rates decline. In fact, there are now 11 states where older adults now outnumber children. Well, you may not know his name, but you're certainly familiar with his work. Lalo Schifrin, the Grammy Award-winning film composer who wrote the Mission Impossible theme, has died. Schifrin died yesterday of complications from pneumonia. The Argentine musician produced many film and TV scores that are now regarded as classics. The Mission Impossible theme earned Schifrin 2 of his 5 Grammy Awards and 3 of his 4 Emmy nominations. Schifrin was 93 years old.
Bouncing back, a major attraction in the mountains reopens to the public in less than an hour. We'll talk with Parks Director Brian Strong about the resurgence of Chimney Rock State Park.
Plus, a hint of water, the new proof that H2O once flowed on the red planet.
Just about an hour, Chimney Rock State Park will reopen in the western part of our state, and access has been limited for months since the park's entrance bridge was destroyed by Hurricane Helene. State Parks Director Brian Strong joins us live via Zoom from Chimney Rock with more on this exciting event. Brian, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is an exciting day. Can you characterize what it's been like to get to this day, to this point since the hurricane, when now you can reopen?
Sure. You know, it's been ups and downs, as you can imagine. You know, we've had to rebuild a bridge. We've had to rebuild our access road. Fix our elevator, and work with the community. And as you know, the town was just devastated by the storm. So we're grateful. There are so many partners that brought us here today. and it's been a journey, but so grateful to welcome people back to Chimney Rock.
Well, tell me a little more about that, because nobody can handle that type of devastation alone. So getting your partners together, who are they? How did they help get you to where you are today?
Yeah, I think first of all, the governor's office, Grow NC, has been incredibly helpful in reopening all the parks in Western North Carolina. NC Department of Transportation has done incredible work. They are the ones that put the new bridge in, helped us with the access road. That partnership has been incredible. I think the other piece of this is, again, the town of Chimney Rock, Lake Lure, the partnerships with them, and then also our partnership with Chimney Rock LLC, who helps us manage the park. Again, so many players had to come together, working hard to make this happen and see this opening today.
And Brian, we just look at these pictures and it reminds you of the resilience that it took of all these people there. When you think about Chimney Rock, you think of the town, yes, but it's associated with the park. We think about the park. Tell us, Governor Josh Stein calls it the jewel of Western North Carolina. Accurate?
I really do think it is, because when I think about the park, I think about generational. I mean, it's been there since around 1916. People have been coming out, families. And there's so many people that I meet that just say, "Oh, I can't wait till it's open back up to bring our kids out." Kids grew up going there, and I think it brings so many people into Western North Carolina. And I'm hoping this reopening is sort of like a ray of hope for Western North Carolina, that if we come together, if we work hard, that we can bring these amazing places back open and to see people back in the park. I'm so excited to get back out there and to see everybody in just an hour or so, to see the people, to see their excitement in getting back into the park.
Certainly a rebirth, if you will, of Chimney Rock, and enjoy that exciting moment when that does reopen there. Parks Director Brian Strong, we thank you for your time there and wish you luck in the near future here.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
Certainly. Michelle?
Well, it's not every day that we can report two big stories from NASA. One involves a new exoplanet. The other hints that water once flowed on Mars. Let's begin with new images from the Mars Curiosity rover, which shows a series of crisscrossing ridges known as a boxwork pattern. It's believed to have formed from groundwater trickling through rock cracks billions of years ago. Researchers say the minerals left behind by the water hardened within the rock. And NASA's James Webb Space Telescope may have discovered its first exoplanet. Exoplanets are planets located outside our solar system. Researchers are calling the planet TWA 7b. The planet is about the same mass of Saturn. It's also the lightest planet ever directly imaged. They say it was found within a disk of debris around a star located 111 light years away from Earth. 1 light year is approximately 6 trillion miles. So yeah, to say it's far, I would say that's an understatement. but just so cool to see all of that.
You're all about the science lessons today.
I know. I'm teaching everybody so much.
Love it. All right, well, let's talk about the radar.
Yes.
Look, we have some storms starting to form.
Starting to pop up.
Not a lot out there, but we do have a few storms developing in our northeastern counties. We'll continue to see pop-up storms as we progress through the afternoon. Roanoke Rapids, if you're watching, there's a cell that's developed very close to you. We'll continue to watch radar. Has a little bit of lightning with it as well. South Hill, Virginia, kind of close to that storm. A little bit of puffy clouds, but no rain there. The sun peeking through the clouds at times as well. Visible satellite imagery shows us where the clouds are, and we have some pretty thick cloud cover that's about to make its way into Mecklenburg County, Virginia. But we do have some clouds out there, and eventually we'll have some more hit and miss storms. It's about a 30 to 40% chance for some storms this afternoon and this evening. Looking ahead to tomorrow, pretty much the same thing. In the afternoon, about a 30 to 40% chance for some hit and miss showers and storms. So not everybody gets the rain. It's a 30 to 40% chance today and tomorrow. A 30% chance we get some storms on Sunday. Monday, rain chances are low, and they go back up to about a 50% chance by the time we get to Tuesday. Outside right now, it is hot. Low 90s in and around the triangle and really most of the area. And then when you factor in the humidity, it feels like 90s and triple digits in some spots. 104 is what it feels like in South Hill right now. Feels like 106 in Clinton. Feels like 100 right now in Fayetteville. And the heat index will stay fairly high through the weekend in the triple digits on Saturday, anywhere from 100 to maybe 105. And really the same thing on Sunday, the heat index back into the triple digits, around 100 to 106. So the heat will continue through the weekend. Take a look at this beautiful shot at Beaufort, Taylor's Creek here. I've seen a lot of the boats going by with their American flags, getting ready for the holiday for next weekend. If you're headed to the beach this weekend, it's looking pretty good. Mid 80s to low 90s, looking pretty dry on Saturday. Sunday, maybe an isolated storm with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s and low 90s for the North Carolina coast. And as we get to next week, it's going to be 4th of July. Next Friday is 4th of July, and it's an early look. This is a preview. We still have a ways to go, but right now it's looking pretty hot. Temperatures will be in the 90s. Isolated storms. We have the European model. It shows no rain at all. The American model shows a little bit of rain, so stay tuned for that, but it does look like it's going to be pretty hot. 96 today, mid 90s with some pop-up storms through the weekend. It stays hot into early next week. A little cool down by Wednesday with a high of 90.
Amy, thanks for that. Dressed like a princess.
Yeah, hundreds of items once belonging to Diana, Princess of Wales, for sale to the highest bidder. Who stands to benefit from this beautiful royal collection?
We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. The DMV is making major changes to avoid long lines in this dangerous heat. Effective immediately, all driver license offices in the state will now serve walk-in customers all day. Examiners will prioritize checking in customers quickly and directing them to wait in their vehicles or at a nearby business until space is available in the office lobby. A reminder, there are no Saturday hours tomorrow or next Saturday.
Police in Goldsboro need your help in finding a missing mother and her 2 children. This is 30-year-old Jasmine Wilson and one of her children, 4-month-old Zayden. Police say Wilson was last seen on June 10th at the Irish Inn on Sunburst Drive. She was wearing a black and orange dress, black tennis shoes, and carrying a Five Below bag. Anyone with information is asked to contact Goldsboro Police.
There's a shortage of lifeguards all around the triangle, affecting pools in Raleigh, Durham, and beyond. Pool staff tell us there aren't enough employees at some locations to safely handle full capacity. The aquatic director for the city of Raleigh says they are looking to fill about 40 lifeguard vacancies. Anyone 15 or older is encouraged to apply online.
Hundreds of items that once belonged to Diana, Princess of Wales, hit the auction block in Beverly Hills, bringing in top dollar. Everything from dresses to handbags went under the hammer. The auction also included items belonging to members of the British royal family. One Diana superfan was overcome with emotion when she placed the winning bid of $400,000 for the iconic Karen dress.
Centre stage, of course, is the Kering dress. Diana wore it 9 times, starting in Australia, 1988. She loved that. Children in hospitals loved it. They could gravitate towards the colours, if you will. It became known as the Kering dress.
When you add fees, the total came to a whopping $520,000. A portion of the auction's proceeds will go to the British charity Muscular Dystrophy UK.
Pet of the day from the SPCA, Wake County, an adventurous soul. This is Taylor, an 8-month-old male, 55 pounds. The result of genetics does not affect his vision, and there's that eyes different colors. It's okay. If you're interested in learning more about him, SPCA of Wake County at the number on your screen.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update is in 30 minutes.
Get breaking news updates anytime with the WRAL News app. Have a safe weekend.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.